Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so at this point I have to admit that I'm a little bit bored. Politics is one big game, and obviously it's a team game. One side against another, tit for tat, there should be some back and forth, and I'd argue when politics is at its healthiest is when there's a healthy dialogue and a healthy back and forth, and that I guess helps me get to my point here, that what's going on right now isn't the healthiest version of what a political public conversation should be. We're not even having a conversation. That's what I meant when I said earlier, I'm bored. If we were to categorize the modern left as one being, as one person, it's somebody who lies, somebody who deceives, somebody who blames others, runs away, avoids accountability, somebody who fakes and pretends and panders, and of course somebody who does it over and over again without any remorse, or really any ability to course correct at all. It's impossible to have a conversation with that kind of person. And so essentially the point that I'm getting at is the Democrat persona, whatever you perceive that as, I mean, not to generalize every Democrat, but what's presented on the TV and how the conversation feels is as if the person on the other side isn't listening, but rather just regurgitating the same thing over and over again in the most baseless and intellectually dishonest manner possible. The question we're asking today is, who can even talk to these people? Let me show you guys what's going on. Let's get into it. Let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so this is what I mean.
Well, let me just say this. I think there are a good number of Republicans, McConnell included, who know deep in their hearts and deep in their minds what a danger he is to democracy and what a disaster he'd be as president. But none of them seem, or very few, a couple didn't show up, as you said, right, but very few, including McConnell. McConnell should have had the courage not to show up. He knows, I think he knows deep in his heart what Trump is like and what Trump would do.
Yeah. Aren't any of these Democrats tired? It takes so much effort to live in a fantasy land, unless you actually believe it and, you're some sort of delusional, unhinged person. But for the most part, these people know that Donald Trump isn't a grievous, dangerous threat to our democracy, but they keep up the act as if that's the case for years. Aren't these people tired? I mean, the American people are certainly tired. What voters want to talk about is the things that matter to them. But every Democrat is a broken record, going on and on about the same frickin' nonsense. Donald Trump is a threat to our existence. He's a monster, I tell ya. How am I supposed to engage with these people? There's no evolution here. The dialogue has been stuck since 2016. Since Donald Trump came down that escalator and said the word Mexicans, it just broke these people. And there's been no evolution. It's been Russia, 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 Donald Trump, threat to our democracy for 8 years relentlessly, never ending. The only evolution that I've seen with this latest Chuck Schumer iteration is that it's more of a soft appeal, as if he's trying to have a heart-to-heart with you, the listener, the viewer. Listen, deep down in your heart that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, right? They've changed the message a little bit. I guess it's meant to pull at your heartstrings. But no, it's not convincing me. Never mind the fact that Donald Trump already served a term as president and things were the best they'd been in a freaking long time. I do have that to fall back on. They keep saying it, but the more they repeat it doesn't make it true. We've already experienced 4 years of Donald Trump. The Democrats want you to believe that Donald Trump's a threat to democracy. Why? Because he was angry and felt as though democracy hadn't been served correctly, and so he wanted to look into it and have transparency. It doesn't exactly check, Donald Trump's a threat to democracy. He's going to end elections and stay in the Oval Office. He's never going to leave. What evidence do you have for that? Well, in 2024, he left the office. Donald Trump is gonna press all the nuke buttons. It's gonna be nuclear Armageddon. Donald Trump's gonna get us into World War III. These talking points simply don't work anymore because Trump is no longer an unknown. He's becoming more and more normalized in the culture, like I keep mentioning. And most importantly, it's all very recent memory. 2016 feels like it was yesterday. Trump was just president, and the people remember. Here's an interesting kind of related clip.
Well, Mr. President,
thank you very much,
we have a lot of great community leaders here. Again, thank everybody for being here. I want to turn to Itasha Dotson. Itasha, tell us about your story and what's going on here. You're a mother, you're a grandmother. Yeah. Tell us what's going on in Detroit.
I have a convenience store on the east side of Detroit. I didn't go there with the idea, but it was in a store in my neighborhood, the neighborhood that my store is. So I just decided to do something for the community there and put something there that can be in use. I've just purchased me a building that I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with that. Some towards the community. I like to give back to the community. I love the things that you talk about, Trump. I believe that I know you're a stand-up man, and I know you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. Good job.
That's a Detroit businesswoman essentially saying the same thing that I'm saying. She knows that Donald Trump is already a known commodity. You already know that when he says he's going to do something, he's actually going to go and do it, because he has a history of acting in that manner. Everything the Democrats are talking about right now is totally unfounded and unhinged. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Rachel Maddow literally said last week that you have to vote for Joe Biden because if Donald Trump gets elected, he's going to throw them in cages. It's all become so ridiculous, so delusional, so insane, and of course so desperate. This is what they got. You know, Trump's just getting started. He hasn't even picked his vice president yet. It's possible that the right vice presidential pick could even shoot him up a couple points in the polls. He hasn't even begun to start deploying a lot of the campaign cash that he's recently acquired through this huge fundraising windfall. As you just saw from the previous clip that I played, he's in Detroit. He just got back from Las Vegas. He's flying all over the place. It is full-on campaign mode, and this is what the Democrats have. Going on podcasts and going on TV and whining like little babies and talking about this threat to democracy, this same old tired talking point over and over again that nobody's taking seriously. The polls clearly indicate that Donald Trump isn't viewed as a great threat to democracy. He's literally winning nationally, at least in early preliminary data, but still that must mean something. It's nothing but wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Non-stop boo-hoo Democrat tantrums, and of course nothing of actual substance. You know, back to the initial point that I was trying to make with this video, largely when it comes to this interaction with the left wing as a political entity, it feels as though there's largely no substance. There's nothing there. There's no important conversation being had. We're not having an honest conversation about public spending, the effective use of American taxpayer dollars. No one's talking about good foreign and domestic policy, good border policy, economic policies, taxation reform. Nobody's talking about anything important within the realm of the left. I mean, that's all I hear from the Trump camp. It's very clear where they stand, but the left plays theater. It's very clear on the Trump side, but when talking about the modern left, it's nothing. They don't even get into that stuff. They don't want you to look there. They just want you to pay attention to the theater, the play that's constantly going on in the media. One day it's about systemic racism and the horrible injustices of this country. Then the next day it's the horrible rise of the right-wing extremists and their mega leader Donald Trump. It's always some grand theatrical performance as a replacement to anything actually substantive. Donald Trump is not a great threat to democracy, and no, we won't be convinced no matter how many thousands of times you try to repeat it, little Chucky Schumer. That's pretty much the TLDR of the video. Honestly, it could have been 10 seconds. I could have just said that and just signed off. But anyways, that's the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.